My name is Teresita Blanco, dear sister, and we're reading Saturnastra Melina. This is chapter 16, Paranoia. 1-6, yeah. When spring came, Melina and her companions started their journey back to Sassari. The lords offered to give her an escort for the return home, however, Melina insisted on traveling along with just Ceric and Augustus. After half a day's walk, Ceric teleported himself along with Melina and his friends, and they were materialized in the forest garden, and Boris was waiting for them to return. And when Augustus saw Boris, he asked, "Anything interesting happened?" "The usual," said Boris, pointing to the palace. "Is Impede still performing her duties?" inquired Melina. "More or less, and she has suppressed the news of His Highness's mandate," said Boris, walking with Melina. So the queen hasn't told them that she's no longer in charge. She hasn't told her people that her daughter's not the one in charge because the king said so. Augustus and Ceric followed behind, and John and Melina commented, "That may not be the wisest course of action. The walls in Sassari are paper thin. If you will be so kind to point out the spies, we will be more than happy to deal with them," said Boris, gesturing towards the courtesans in the garden. "That won't do, Boris dear," said Melina. "If I point out the spies, you will naturally alter your behavior towards them, and in no time they will figure out that the cover has been blown, and thus they will be replaced. By capturing them, we essentially blind Bersabe, and the man will grow paranoid, and he has destroyed entire kingdoms for less, and it is best not to provoke his ire." So then, if they capture the spies, the king will be like, "Well, I don't know what's happening there anymore, and that makes me nervous, so I'm just gonna destroy them all to be safe." You're gonna leave the spies there. So there's more than one spy," commented Ceric. "Certainly," said Melina, yawning. "We'll send one more when you can have thousands of them eroding in the foundation." "But you do know the identities of all of the spies," insisted Ceric. "Yes, I know that you're one of them, my dear Ceric," said Melina, giggling. Augustus made a motion for her sword, and she removed her hand from her hilt when she saw Melina shaking her head sadly. "Boris, stop, as well to face Ceric." "How long have you known?" "Since the first day I saw you," said Melina. "And what will you do to me now that you know the truth? Now that the truth is out in the open," said Ceric, narrowing his eye. Augustus slapped his back, taking Ceric's wind away, and laughing, he said, "What are you getting so tense for? We are friends, aren't we? And the fact that you are a spy for..." "Tuberus," interjected Melina. "Ah, yes, him. Won't change how we feel about you," said Augustus, smiling. "If it makes you feel any better, your bossman has his days numbered as well," said Melina. "And my sources tell me that there was going to be a coup d'etat soon." "Coup d'etat? I don't understand the word." "I understand the word coup," said Augustus, folding his arm. "It means a violent overthrow," said Melina, and she added, "Then again, no overthrow has ever been done through peaceful means." That saying that violent overthrow is redundant. There's no peaceful overthrow of anything. Both heard a chuckling behind him, and he saw one of the courtesans passing by, and she was looking in his direction, and said to Melina he was gripped by a sudden burst of paranoia, and in a hushed voice he said, "We should talk about this later, and let's meet in Melina's room after dark." "Sure, if anyone asks, tell them we are having an orgy," said Melina, laughing. Others assembled to Melina's jest seriously, and they each went their separate way. And close to noon, Melina visited Baron in his study room, and when he saw Melina, he ran towards her with his arms outstretched. And she picked him up with ease, despite the fact that he had grown quite a bit. And Baron kissed Melina on the cheek and mouth and forehead, and smiling he said, "Mom, you're back." "Mom," said Melina, chuckling. "Whatever happened to Melina?" "Why do you leave me alone for an entire year?" said Baron, resting his head against her cheek. "Oh, suck it up, Baron. You're an elf. What is a single year for an elf?" said Melina, kissing his forehead. "It still felt like a pretty long time," said Baron sadly. "Ah, yes. The others already know about our little spy problem. Boris doesn't seem to be taking the news rather well," said Melina, putting Baron down. "He should grow up here. I have known about the spies for years, and I'm not afraid," said Baron, striking his chest with his fist to make more an emphasis. "I'm not afraid." Yeah. Melina removed her travel hat and allowed her blonde curls to cover her face, and pushing her hair back, she commented, "People should always be mindful of what they say. A word once given cannot be taken away." "Demons say the same thing all the time," said Baron, scratching his head. Baron walked Melina back to her room, and she was greeted by Franny, who was playing with Melina's harp. and one of Melina's patrons had gifted the maiden a harp since he had heard that Melina played the tune for him. It is interesting to note that Melina had never shown an interest in instrument, and Franny didn't know how to play the harp, though that did not stop her from didn't know how to play with the harp, though that did not stop her from playing with it. And she was also wearing one of Melina's dresses. She stopped playing when she heard the door opening, and the color returned to her face when she recognized Melina. And smiling, she said, "Welcome back, my mistress." Melina fell face first on the bed, and she sighed. "I miss you." "How so? I never see you sleeping in your bed," commented Franny, somewhat annoyed. Like she said, "I miss you," but then she just fell on her bed. She didn't miss her mate, she missed her bed. "I miss you." Baron jumped on top of the bed, and he sat down beside Melina. Giggling, he said, "I can't blame you for missing your bed. It is quite bouncy." Melina sat up and went to the bathroom to bathe, and while soaking inside, Franny put out clean clothing. Afterwards, Franny returned to play with the harp. Baron couldn't help but yawn while he listened to Franny play, and he eventually lay down to nap for a bit, and he was roused from his sleep when he heard the bathroom door opening, and Melina entered the room wrapped in a towel. Franny dried Melina's hair, and he helped her put on a delicate satin pink dress. She also tied her mistress's shoes, and while Melina was getting dressed, Baron instinctively looked away. And despite being raised by Melina, Baron still had a few elven habits, and he abstained from eating meat, and he practiced his bow and arrow, and he was always in bed by sunset, and since he had gotten older, he tried to stay up a little later, and despite his best effort, he could not help being afraid of the dark. After she finished getting dressed, Melina said to Franny, "Tonight we are having a little get-together with our friend, and pray to tell me what is the occasion. Are we having a welcome back party?" asked Franny. "Not really. Impedia is not even aware of my return," said Melina. "No, they want to discuss a little spy problem." "Oh, that," said Franny, laughing. "It is a wonder how they went so long without noticing," commented Baron. "Alas, they know nothing of my work," said Melina sadly. "It might be beneficial to impart some of your wisdom, Melina," suggested Franny. "The knowledge would only burden them so," said Melina, yawning. "And yet you let that little piece of information slip," said Franny. "I did not let that piece of information slip. I only wanted to make them mindful of what they said," said Melina. And close to that, Boris, Garrett, Augusta, and Sarah went to Melina's room, and it was said that Melina had expected Boris to tell Garrett about the spy problem. And Sir Walter came of his own accord, and he noticed a small number of people gathering in Melina's room, and recognizing Augustus, he figured that Melina had returned, and he was still a bit sore by Melina's refusal to take him along on the trip to Veraguero. Baron and Franny too stayed, though neither contributed to the conversation, and they pretended to play chess while observing with disdain the drama that was unfolding before them. And Boris was the last person to enter, and he locked the door behind him, and he closed all the blinds in the room. Before we continue, I must say that this little meeting of ours is raising a lot of red flags. Still, I am in a condescending mood, so ask what you will, said Melina, sitting in the bed. Sassari sat beside Melina and crossed his legs, and Boris reclined against the wall by the door, and Gareth took his post by the window, and from time to time he looked outside, all paranoid-like. And Sir Walter sat in the backless chair and by the harp, and Augusta sat before Melina's vanity. And once they were all settled, Boris was the first to speak. "How long has this spy business been going on?" "Since the start of time. Spy business is endemic to all planets," explained Melina, yawning. "Wouldn't it be wise to get rid of the spies? No offense, Eric," said Boris. "None taken," said Eric, smiling. "No, really, why kill people for gossiping? Humanoids cannot help but gossip, and sure, some are professional eavesdroppers, but on the whole their resistance is not malicious, and sometimes pretending that they are not there is the best course of action," said Melina, yawning. "You cannot compare idle gossip with spies," said Augustus, raising his voice. "Why not? Both are out to gain something, and they always report only negative aspects," said Melina. "I did not come here to find out negative things about you, Melina. Rather, Suberos wanted to know what sort of magic you yielded," explained Ceric. He could have just asked. "You could have just asked, instead of pussyfooting around me," said Melina, shaking her head sadly. "If you wanted to know, just ask, dude." "Yes, you should know by now that Melina is a magic lover, and she knows nothing but kindness to your lot, and you reward her with distrust," said Sir Walter, glaring at Ceric. "Forgive me, but we wizards have reason to be cautious, said Sari caustically, like acid. True, but you make no effort to earn our trust, commented Gareth. We came here to have a friendly chat about spies, and I would implore you to refrain from ganging up on Sarek. It is bad enough that society is trusted for being a mage. Gareth was about to say something, but he was interrupted by Baron, who said, I just noticed something. What is it, Baron? Inquired Franny. Nothing. Checkmate, Franny, said Baron, laughing. Dad, I should have been paying attention, she pouted, while resetting the board. Said Boris, rubbing his chin. Care to share your thoughts with us, Boris, said Sir Walter. I was wondering who is spying on us and for what purposes, Boris narrowing his eye. You give yourself too much credit, Boris. A lowly knight such as yourself does not warrant the attention of spies, said Melina. Ouch, said Boris, taken aback. I didn't mean it as a bad thing. Sometimes it is good to go unnoticed. Remember, the nail that sticks out the most is the first one to get hammered, said Melina. And besides, the spies here are mostly for me. My work has brought me much infamy, and such is the curse of my profession, and you need not be troubled by it. But doesn't it bother you? Asked Augustus. Not really. I'm used to having my actions scrutinized by higher powers, and since I feel all those eyes on me, I am compelled to set an example with the hopes of making this world a little better, said Melina. Then why did you become a courtesan? Asked Gareth. How dare you? I did not become a courtesan. I was made into one, or haven't you forgotten? It was you who chose this life for me, dear Gareth, said Melina, pointing at Gareth. Sorry, said Boris and Gareth in unison. Remember that those two were the ones who bought her at the start of the book and brought her to Imperia's palace to be a courtesan. I didn't choose to be a courtesan. You just chose that for me, jerks. Time, bro?
11 minutes.
I did offer to save you from your miserable fate, said Augustus. If I did not want to be here, I would have left on my own accord. I am strong and I am blessed, and it's for this very reason that I can afford the luxury of worrying about my dear friends, said Melina, petting Sarik's head. It wouldn't kill you to be selfish from time to time, said Augustus. Melina opened her mouth to say something, but she then smiled and chose to remain silent. The rest of the night was spent in clever and conversation, and it was the first time all of them had ever gotten together to converse, and they actually found that they had a lot in common, even with Sarik, and normally they would not associate with one another. However, they were bound by Melina's candor and altruism. Alright, we're done with this chapter.